he was aware of reality.
Hey, I'm good. How are you? Matt Gaetz are withdrawing his name.
Well, the first time President Trump was our president, it was 4 years that were never boring, and there were a lot of fast-moving developments. I hope the president-elect will now consider nominating someone for attorney general who by character, experience, and qualifications can fulfill that role and be confirmed.
Are there people in that orbit that you think fit that bill? Is it someone like Todd Blank?
I don't know everyone who's in his orbit.
Whitaker, I mean, he's shown a propensity towards nominating firebrands. He's not shying away, obviously.
Look, I'm sorry? A number of the president-elect's nominees have faced some headwinds already. I'm committed to meeting with and working through an appropriate confirmation process anyone nominated by the president-elect. But I think his confirmation process will move more quickly and be more successful if he nominates more confirmable candidates. I'll remind you, his Secretary of Defense nominee, for example, last time got 98 votes. It's not that Democrats are determined to oppose his nominees, it's that his nominees need to be more confirmable.
Thank you all very much. Though, right?
Correct.
Right. Good.
Senator, get your comment about Matt.
No, I have to go vote, so I'm a terrible person. I just heard about, so I don't know any of the details.
Your initial reaction.
Just yet.
Relief.
Thank you.
Senator, can we get Matt Gaetz?
Yeah.
Any comments that you can
I
give us
just
on
issued
Matt
a
Gaetz?
statement. He withdrew. I respect his decision. Appreciate him offering himself. That the process was going to be challenging, and he made the decision. You need to ask him. But here's what I would say. The president nominated somebody. They chose to not go forward. Now he'll nominate somebody else. You know, all this interest about Republican nominees, I understand it. But where were most of y'all at when the Democrats were doing this? You know, there was an allegation of rape by a woman against President Biden. And here's what I said. That's not the guy I know. Nobody did this. We sense that if you're a Republican, everything is true until you can prove yourself innocent. So as to Matt, he's withdrawn. Respect his service. As to what President Trump will do next, we will see. But I am committed to helping him where I can. I will not be a rubber stamp to his nominees, but I will also not engage in a angry mob mentality. Now, I have voted for almost everybody's nominees. And I can promise you, when a Democrat nominates somebody, I don't have this problem of walking down the hall with a microphone in my face. The double standard is atrocious, and it needs to stop.
What are you hoping to see from
Thank
your
you,
nominee?
Senator.
And just to clarify, you think there was a double standard?
I'm sorry, I have to go to the gate.
I love those things. They're a lot of fun. Senator, any reaction to Matt Gaetz dropping his bit?
Well, I'm sure it's the right decision. If he feels like it is, and the president feels like it is, the president deserves to have a cabinet who is going to implement his agenda, serve his interests. And so I saw the president's statement, and I trust his
Did
judgment.
you think your colleagues were already a no on him, though?
Oh, I think some of them were.
Did
Yeah.
you say 4 or 5? How many do
Oh,
you
I don't
think?
know. I don't know about the whip count. I'm sure the White House or the Mar-a-Lago had a good
The Mar-a-Lago.
had a good sense of that.
Senator, is there anyone else you'd like to see the AG?
Oh, I'll leave that to the president.
You met with him yesterday.
I did.
Mr. Gaetz. Was there something in the conversation that raised the flag that, could lead us to what we are seeing today?
Oh no, I mean, he seemed very optimistic yesterday. But listen, I think I go back to the fact that this is the president's cabinet. He's got to choose people who he has confidence in, and who are going to be able to deliver, he believes, on his agenda. So he's decided that's not Matt Gaetz.
But I feel like given
respect
his
it.
optimism yesterday, isn't this surprising?
Who's optimism?
Gaetz.
Well, I don't know. This is ultimately the president's call. And I think the president has a good sense of what's best for him and his agenda and his cabinet. So
Have you spoken to Gaetz or President Trump since the resignation?
I have not.
Gaetz is also facing a pretty serious allegation. Do you think that his nomination is in jeopardy as well?
Oh, I don't know. I don't sit on that committee. But my view would be, let's go through the committee process here. Now, obviously, Gaetz ultimately decided he didn't want to go through the process. But if you have a nominee who wants to, I would say let him testify, and let's not make judgments and reach conclusions until they've had a chance to testify and address these concerns.
Thank you, Senator.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any
Thank
thoughts on the people floating you, Eric Schmidt, Andrew Bailey for?
you. Oh, I would give no advice to the president, but it won't be me.
Oh, yeah, sorry about both of that.
Oh, you went in there and picked it up?
Senator, do you have any reaction to Gaetz resigning or withdrawing from the list of AG?
That doesn't surprise me because of all the guff that was created before it. But I don't think I generalize that that's going to happen to the rest of the nominees. I think that Trump deserves a slate of cabinet members that are going to shake up the system and acknowledge the mandate he got to change DC. So, but that didn't surprise me.
And Mr. Pete Hegseth is actually facing sexual allegations by a police report that just came out. What is your response to
So
this?
I'm assuming that will go through a committee and they'll kind of vet it. But from everything I know, it looks like it will probably muster the scrutiny, but remains to be seen. So, but I think in general, the host of nominees have been good because it's a clear signal that this place has got to change because it's headed in the wrong direction financially mostly. And if we want to keep doing the same things that we've been doing, I think Trump represents the country wanting to see something different. So we'll see how that works out. What's that? Well, I'm not going to be voting on them, so that'll be the new slate of senators.
But Senator, are you concerned at all that we already have two of the nominees that have faced sexual assault allegations? Are you concerned that any other nominees only face?
I think whenever you bring forth a nominee, you need to be prepared that it's going to be tight, close scrutiny, and I think that happens on both sides of the aisle. So I think in general, the slate of nominees have been great because it signifies something different. Okay.
What's your reaction now that he's withdrawn?
Well, I mean, there's a sense of relief about it, of course. I think he did a pretty noble thing, frankly, honorable thing by getting out himself. I thought his statement was appropriate, and I look forward to a new nominee that we can get fully behind.
Because you had concerns about political capital being expended.
I did, and I think that was the case that was made. To be honest, I mean, simple math. I think it was made clear that there's not a path, and if there's not a path, you're going to spend a lot of political capital for a losing cause, and it wouldn't have been worth it.
Should the report still be released?
I believe that up to the House at this point. There's no other reason, for it to be released other than if he was still a House member or, a nominee for a high position. So I'd leave that up to the House.
Do you think a lot of attention and scrutiny now goes to Trump's other nominees like Pete Hegseth with this report?
Well, probably for you all. I mean, I think that each of the nominees are going to come under the same scrutiny. It's the process that we're supposed to go through. That So, but you won't have Matt Gaetz to report on. So yeah, I suspect that Pete will get more attention.
Did the sexual assault report, its allegation, does that give you any pause with Pete Hegseth?
Well, it's a pretty big problem given that we have we have a sexual assault problem in our military that a number of us, and certainly the champions being Kirsten Gillibrand and Joni Ernst, but I've been on board with them and supported the legislation to deal with it since the chain of command was not. And so, yeah, it becomes a problem. Again, this is why you have background checks. This is why you have hearings. This is why you have to go through the scrutiny. I'm not going to prejudge them, but yeah, it's a pretty concerning accusation.
Are you considering voting against him?
Oh, we'll have to wait until we get to that point where we'd have a vote. So there's a long process to go through before that. I didn't do it on purpose. But it's damn convenient.
Can I ask quickly on the Treasury Secretary? Because Trump seemed to be expecting to name that today. Do you have an opinion on who would be a good candidate?
Well, I would tell you.
Speak loudly.
Yeah, sure. So I think everybody that they talked about are pretty good. I mean, obviously, if Bill Haggerty is under consideration, I don't know how you do better, but is that still in play?
Say that one more time.
Yeah. So I have to say, when I heard that Bill Haggerty was under consideration, of course, I was on an airplane with him, with President Trump at the time that I learned that. I have to say, wow, you talk about somebody who's both qualified, has the right mindset, has the right demeanor, has the right loyalties, knows this place well. He'd be a layup for confirmation, and he'd do a great job. I'm intrigued by Mark Rowan, frankly, as a candidate. It's not somebody who would have come to my mind, but after I heard that he was a possibility, I'm intrigued by it because of just what he's accomplished in his line of work. He certainly knows from the other side what overregulation looks like and how stifling it can be. So, but so far, best. I mean, they've all been good. I think they've all been good rumors.
Overall,
I was a little surprised by it, how abruptly it happened. I'm really not doing that. Just so
the code word is Gaetz.
Yeah, maybe that's pretty good. Yeah. Anyway,
Just waiting for those to turn off. She's not.
Which party does she work for? It could be either.
She's just anti-media. Yeah, that could be actually.
Overall, Senator, your level of concern about the vetting or lack thereof with the Trump team.
Well, that's their concern. I mean, that's their. If they don't want to vet more, or if they want to take a chance on these, that's up to them. Our job will be to vet. If they don't, we will. If they do, we will.
There's obviously a risk.
It is a risk for sure. It gets back to the political capital issue, but this is probably part of why they're doing it so fast, so that Donald Trump has always liked a rather public vetting process. As you might recall, in his first term, there were times when he had cabinet secretaries on the opposite side of an issue debating it in the public sphere. I think Donald Trump processes that way, quite honestly, and that's fine if it works for him.
And let's try again. Are you surprised that Gaetz dropped out today?
I was surprised by how abruptly it happened. I think it was, like I said, I think it was an honorable thing for him to do. As soon as you might as well do it, I guess. But I thought maybe the process would play out a little bit longer, maybe into a weekend or something. But good for him for doing it.
Did you think it would make it to January any measure?
I did not.
You did.
I know enough people that were a hell no in the conference to know that the path would have been very, very difficult if possible even, and I doubt it was.
Would you have voted for him?
Well, we'd have to wait till it comes out of the Judiciary Committee if it would.
Given the allegations that are out there and have been reported on, would you vote for him today?
No, I would not vote for him today, and